And you're talking about you almost paying 55, 60% of your check to child support. They're not expecting people to have multiple children with multiple mothers. It's not inclusive of that. You don't get like all you can eat as many kids as you want and it still stays 20%. That's not the way it works.
We are here on a motion to modify support. Just as a little bit of background, the prior order from 2018 did not set child support because the parents were splitting possession of the child equally. However, Ms. Logan is stating that has changed and is requesting child support be set. There is an agreement on health insurance. The parties agree that Mr. Mead will continue to carry health insurance through his employer. He carries health and dental and vision for the child. I'll take testimony on the contested issue of child support. So the state calls the mother Miss Logan. Ma'am, will you state your name?
Marta Logan Nash.
And what's your child's name?
Justin Robert Mead Jr.,
And how old is he?
8 years old.
And are you in agreement for Mr. Mead to continue to carry the health and dental insurance for your son?
Yes.
Okay. And the order from 2018 set no child support because you and the father were splitting possession. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you no longer splitting possession equally?
No.
And who does your son primarily live with?
Myself.
And what happened to cause your son to come live primarily with you?
It's just always been that way. It hasn't really changed. We get like here and there visitation, but he's always primarily stayed with me.
And so are you wanting child support to be set up today?
Yes.
Okay. And based on Mr. Mead's income and giving him credit for 2 other children and carrying insurance costs, I calculated child support at $460 each month, beginning May 1st. Are you in agreement with that amount?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any safety concerns if your address or your phone number is in the court order?
No.
Okay. And has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and Mr. Mead?
No.
And was there a specific incident that caused your son to come live primarily with you, or it's just been on and off?
It's just always been that way. I've always, had primary custody of him and taking care of him, his sole provider.
Okay. Is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
No.
Okay, I'll pass the witness. The state calls the father Mr. Mead. Sir, will you state your name?
Justin Robert Mead, sir.
And Mr. Mead, are you in agreement to continue to carry the insurance for your son through your employer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you make $20 per hour and you work 40 hours per week, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have 2 other minor children, right?
Yes, that I'm on child support for as well.
Okay. And the 2018 order set no child support because you and Miss Logan were splitting possession, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still doing equal split of possession with your son, or has that changed?
It's changed.
And how has it changed?
I barely see it.
And why is that?
Disagreements.
Can you explain a little bit more in detail about how come you're not able to see your son?
Mother gets angry about certain situations and keeps him away from me, blocks me on cell phone communication. Then when I do get him, it's only for a couple days because of my work schedule and my living situation.
Okay. And so since 2018, after that order was done, were you doing an equal split of possession?
Now, she never wanted him to stay with me. She won't let him stay with me.
Okay, so you've never really had exactly 50-50 time with him.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
If you ask him himself if he was there, he would say he wants to come stay with me, but she'll never let him come stay with me. There's a school right across the street from my house where he could go to school, but she never wanted it.
Okay. And so the child support that I calculated is $460 a month. Do you agree or disagree with that amount?
I'm confused on it. Is that going to be taken out, the money that's already been taken from me, or is that going to be added on to more?
This would be additional because it's separate from your other 2 cases.
So how do I get all that taken care of together? Because I won't be able to live. I'm at the moment, if y'all take 400 out of my check, I want to get 500 every week, and I'm in the process of being evicted, so there's no way for me to live.
Okay,
So
and so
yeah,
you're
I'm a bit
wanting, or you're wanting the child support to remain at 0, is that correct?
yeah, if possible.
Okay.
I don't have no money as it is right now. I'm being evicted, and I have
Do you
paperwork to
have,
show I'm being evicted.
do you have any safety concerns with your address or your phone number being printed in the court order?
No, ma'am, I don't really care on that because I don't know how long I'm waiting on to go to eviction court now. So that might change to me living in my vehicle.
And has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and Miss Logan?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
I just want everything ran together with all the other cases. I'm taking the money out of that instead of me paying more.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, so Mr. Mead's gonna carry health insurance. I cannot deal with all three of your cases at the same time, Mr. Mead, so this case is independent of that somewhat, other than we're gonna give you credit for you having two other child support obligations, which has already been calculated here into the number. We can't reduce the other cases because you owe child support on this one. You might need to modify those other ones if they haven't taken this child into account. That's possible, but
No,
I
but
can't do
y'all
that.
never.
Excuse me, sir, I'm talking.
I got
But
you.
I cannot do that all at one time. This is only Miss Logan's case, not all three of your cases at the same time. So you may want to address that later, but that's not something I can do today. This is a separate case. So as far as this case is concerned, we are taking account you have two other children. We're taking account you paying taxes, and this is the number. It's 460. It will be in addition to the other numbers. You may be able to modify the other numbers. I don't know, but that's up to you if you request that or you change it. I cannot take into account your expenses, whether or not you're able to pay your own bills or not. I cannot do that. Everybody has pretty much the same kind of bills, same kind of living expenses, and I can't reduce child support because somebody says that their rent's too high or their car payment is too high. I can't. Everybody pretty much has the same kind of bills, so I can't reduce someone's child support or increase someone's child support because of expenses. That'd be too complicated. That's not the way that it works. So I have to set child support at the 460 a month, court cost billed. All right, the Attorney General's office will draft an order based on that. I'm not
Can
going
I
to
ask a
change my mind,
question?
Mr. Mead. I'm not going to change my mind, Mr. Mead, but do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I thought child support was supposed to be like 20% across the board out of my check, regardless of how much for all the kids added together.
Roughly, roughly it works out to 20%, a little bit less, but let's just say 20% per kid per baby mother.
I
Okay,
know,
so if
but
you
then
have so if you have three children with one baby mother, that's cheaper because then that would only be 30% total because it would go 20 and then it would increase 5% and then increase another 5% for the third child. So it would only be 30%. But if you had three baby mothers, it'll be almost roughly a little bit less than 20% per kid. So then you're talking about you almost paying 55, 60% of your check to child support. So every time that you have another child, it's gonna add on another roughly 20%. It's a little less. In this case, it's 16%. So it went from 20 to 16. So basically if you say 16 times three, that's what, like 40 something, almost half your check there.
so it's already half
If
my check now.
you add another child in the future, you would decide to have a fourth child, that's going to add another 16%. So that's the way the law's set up. They're not expecting people to have multiple children with multiple mothers. They're expecting people to have maybe multiple children with one mother. That's kind of the way the law's set up. So it's not inclusive of that. You don't get like all you can eat as many kids as you want and it still stays 20%. That's not the way it works. So, I mean, if that's your choice, I can't make that choice for you, but roughly that's about how it works. Okay.
So is that $400 out of every check?
I'm sorry.
Is that $400 out of every check?
No, it'll be a month. So, depending upon how you get paid, this will probably be about a little bit more than $100 a week. It's 460. If you get paid weekly, that would be like I $433 a month would be like $100 even. So this is a little bit higher than that, maybe 105, $106 a
Yeah,
week or something.
I get paid every 2 weeks. So right now, that'll leave me with $200 out of my check because
Okay.
the child support takes the rest.
Okay. Well, you may have to get a second job, sir. You have a lot of children. Children are very expensive.
I understand it, but
Okay.
I was told to.
Okay, Mr. Mead. All right, then we're done with your case. Y'all can press leave to exit. I need to move on to the next case.
The state calls the mother Miss Fant. Will you please state your name?
Kiera Fant,
And what's the child's name?
London Fant,
And how old is she?
3.
And who is London's biological father?
Hockey Howard,
Is there anyone else that could possibly be the father?
no,
And have you been married or are you currently married?
no,
Are you requesting any DNA testing to between London and Mr. Howard?
no,
And are you in agreement today to establish that Mr. Hockey Howard is London's biological father?
yes,
And right now her last name is Fant. Are you wanting it to leave it? Are you wanting to leave it at that or add in Howard?
leave it,
Okay. Has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and the father?
no,
Do you have any safety concerns with your address or your phone number being printed in the court order?
I would prefer for my address to not be in it.
And why is that?
When London was 1, so prior to 2 years, there was a lot of popping up and just showing up in my home, or a lot of negativity towards if I were to ever move on and have another man around London as that fatherly figure, he would have issues with that. And he knows that I'm currently living with someone else at this time. So I just would prefer for that not to be even a thing to have to deal with.
So he's come over to your residence uninvited in the past.
Yes.
Okay. And does he know your current address?
No.
Okay. And if he has your address, are you worried he might come over uninvited again?
Yes.
You're okay with him having your phone number and your email address, though?
Yes, he already has it.
Okay. Do you think that you and Mr. Howard can co-parent and make decisions for your child together?
Up until this point, I've made all decisions due to lack of communication. But I don't have a problem making decisions with him.
Has he reached out to try to be involved in your daughter's life or just hasn't made an effort?
He's on and off, so he'll reach out and then we'll go months up to a year without hearing from him. And then he tries to make contact again and be a part of her life. So it's very on and off.
Okay. Are you requesting to be the sole managing conservator of the child, meaning you make the decisions on your own?
Yes.
And do you believe that's in her best interest?
Yes.
And are you requesting no geographic restriction, meaning you can move the child anywhere?
Yes.
And does Mr. Howard live in the DFW area?
Yes.
Okay. And are you requesting a phased-in visitation schedule?
Yes.
Are you requesting that the first phase be supervised visits for 10 visits on Sundays from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.?
Yes.
And then once he completes those 10 supervised visits, you're okay with the second period being unsupervised?
Yes.
And those periods would be from the same time, 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on Sunday for 10 visits, correct?
Yes.
And once he's completed that phase, you're okay with him having a standard possession schedule?
Yes.
And if you're wanting a non-disclosure of your address, is there a neutral exchange location you would suggest?
As far as the visitation, or
Where you can meet up with him to do exchanges for visitation?
yes. Um, mm, I'm near the Galleria Mall. If we could meet, if that could be a possibility.
Okay. Is there a specific store or location in the mall that you want to pick since I know it's a larger mall?
Um, we could, I know there's a restaurant. We can meet at Grand Lux Cafe. I know that's on
Okay.
the outer end.
Okay. And then what kind of health insurance coverage does your daughter have?
Medicaid,
Do you have any private health insurance available to you at a reasonable cost?
not at this time.
And are you in agreement to keep her on Medicaid?
Yes.
And do you know if Mr. Howard is employed?
He told me that he is self-employed with landscaping,
Okay. Do you know if he owns his own business or works for someone?
owns his own business.
Okay. And is it correct that he has 3 other minor children?
Yes.
All right. And then we use the Bureau of Labor Statistics website to calculate his income, which someone in his field earns about $6,610 a month. Do you think that's accurate of what he could be earning?
I'm honestly not sure.
Okay. And when did he tell you that he was a landscape owner?
He told me that he got in the business probably about a year and a half ago.
Okay. And do you know the name of his company?
No,
Do you know how many employees he has or anything like that?
no,
Okay. And other than just knowing he's in the landscaping industry, do you have any other information about his wages or anything like that?
no.
Okay. Um, you'll give me 1 second.
Let me interject here. If we do, let's say, $125 a day, 5 days a week, that comes out to about $2,700 gross. And maybe we could use that number. I don't know. You're getting a $6,000 number. That's pretty high.
Yes. What were those numbers, Your Honor? You said
Uh, two,
125 a day?
yeah, if I did
Or
125 a day, which is probably still high because most landscapers make 75 a day, but let's say it's 125 a day, 5 days a week. Monthly, comes out to $2,700, 2,700.
all right. Let me put that in the calculator so I can redo those calculations. Okay, I'm using $2,700 a month, self-employed, giving him credit for 3 other children. I calculated medical support at $61 each month. Ms. Fant, do you agree with that amount?
Yes,
And then the child support that I calculated to you would be $314 each month, beginning May 1st. Do you agree or disagree with that amount?
I agree.
Are you requesting any retroactive child support?
No,
Okay. And the state's requesting that the court costs be billed to Mr. Howard. Are you in agreement with that?
yes,
Is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
no.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, I will grant the default judgment as requested. I'm granting non-disclosure request. Make sure he has a way to contact you if he doesn't have your address. Normally, he would come to your residence to pick up the child for visitation. And since you're not doing a non-disclosure, that's why we're doing the exchange location. So you need to go to the exchange location for the visits. If he chooses to exercise on those, the phase-in visits are fine. I'm not going to modify them. And just if it can be shorter, that would be my only suggestion, I guess. I don't know if we need 10 supervised visits. If it can be 5 or something like that. If we're pretty confident at that point, then if he's doing them regularly, then we really shouldn't need 10. But I'll leave that up to you, Ms. Fant. I'm going to grant your request on that. And then medical support 61, child support 314, no back child support court costs as billed to the father. The Attorney General's office will put that all in the court order and email you a copy, and then they'll work on trying to collect it. If he's self-employed, they're probably gonna have a hard time finding it, but he should get notices telling him that that's what's due. All right, you're done with court, Ms. Fant. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you.